the foreign companies that are producing the goods that are taxed, they are reducing the prices of their goods to a degree by the amount of the tariff such that the price is offset. In other words, if the price goes up $10 because of the tariff, they're cutting the tariff, or they're cutting the price of their good by $10, and they're just eating the profit. They're doing this because they don't think that you are willing to buy the product otherwise. Now, some companies may be cutting the price a little bit, but then the importer is still paying the import tax, and they're having to eat some of it. Rarely are you getting 100% of the cost. You know where you're getting 100% of the cost on the tariff is groceries. The margins are so slim for grocery stores. Contrary to what Elizabeth Warren would have you believe, margins for a lot of grocery stores are so slim. If you're buying consumer products at the grocery store, you're buying your groceries, you're eating a lot of the tariff costs. That's why, for example, coffee prices have gone up so much. Banana prices have gone up. Tomato prices are starting to go up as we head out of tomato season. We're importing tomatoes from Central and South American grow houses. A lot of these products, we're starting to see the prices go up at the grocery store. Or we should be seeing the prices go up at the grocery store. But it's not just that. There actually is a lot of other economic turbulence right now. There's a lot of economic turbulence about the commodity prices, about the impact of tariffs, about the underlying weaknesses in the economy. I was mentioning to you the other day the Harvard study, which no one has disputed, by the way. The Harvard study shows that if you take out data centers and AI and the related costs to AI, the economy only grew at 0.1%. I got a really angry email from a financial guy who says, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm scaring everyone, and I should not be telling people to stay out of the summer, which I didn't do, by the way. But also, he didn't dispute the data. He didn't dispute that there really isn't significant growth in companies in the S&P. He misunderstood what I said. Stock prices are going up, but when you look at the actual companies of the S&P, outside of the top 10, 15 companies in a total of 500, there's not good growth projections for those companies. So the stock prices are going up, but the actual fundamentals for the companies isn't as good as a lot of people have you believe. And this guy wanted to tear me a new one for just telling you the truth. And he's a stockbroker and was very upset that I would say what I said to you, that I was discouraging you. I'm not discouraging anybody from investing. I'm just trying to tell you what's going on out there. And yet the economy is still doing good. Labor is starting to go wobbly. The Federal Reserve is concerned about labor. Small businesses are now a bit more and more vocal. They've eaten all the profits they can to cover the tariffs, so they're just not hiring people. They're not paying higher wages, anything like that. It's a problem. It is. But the president has deployed one policy. And that one policy is taking care of everything else. In fact, it is because of this one policy you're not feeling all the pinch of the tariffs you would otherwise feel. It's because of this one policy a lot of companies aren't having to lay people off. It's because of this one policy that the commodity prices are not up higher than they are. And to the extent anyone talks about it, they're not giving Donald Trump credit for it. They're trying to make a lot of excuses to avoid giving Donald Trump credit for gas prices being lower than they were than the start of the pandemic now. That's right. Gas prices are the lowest they have been since 2020. And here's what makes it more remarkable. The BP factory in Whiting, Indiana, caught on fire. It's the largest refinery in the U.S. Midwest. Gasoline prices actually spiked in the Midwest because of it. It's one of the largest refineries in the United States of America. 255,000 barrels per day crude distillation unit associated with 60,325 barrels per day vacuum distillation unit, 100,000 barrels per day cat feed hydro treater and 24,300 barrel per day hydro treater. They're shut down. 115,000 barrel per liter fluid catalytic cracker was shut down on Thursday. Now, that may not mean anything to you, but it is a massive, massive loss of refining capacity in the United States. The refinery in mid-September began planning maintenance. There was flooding due to a severe thunderstorm. It caused a cascading effect. They're ruling out sabotage. They don't think it was the Russians. You know, the Russians have sabotaged some oil refineries in Europe. They don't think that was it. But the Great Lakes oil prices shot up by about 20 cents, and they're coming back down. And nationally, we're below $3 a gallon in some places. The national average is below $3 a gallon. Gas Buddy predicts prices will go even lower in the coming weeks. There's a good prospect of motorists enjoying sub $3 prices for an extended period. The drop is overwhelmingly being driven by the significant increase in oil production from OPEC through 2025, but not just OPEC, from American oil producers domestically as well. Why? Why? Because the President of the United States is not only not an enemy of oil, but has really good relationships with Saudi Arabia, unlike the last guy, and with the American oil producers, Chevron of which has just found a massive pool of oil in South America, Exxon of which has found another massive pool of oil, and BP, which has found a larger one yet in Brazil. And the Brazilian socialists who are calling for climate change and calling for changes to the global economy for climate change, the Brazilians are like, but not this oil. We want this oil. We want it. The President of the United States has given oil producers confidence that they are not going to be punished for pumping and producing oil. The result is that gas is now below $3 a gallon. The result is that grocery prices have otherwise come down, offset by tariffs. Commodity prices are affected. Transportation and energy costs for companies are affected. All of these things have a cascading effect to prop up the economy and lower prices that are offset by the tariffs. So you may not feel prices going down other than at the pump, but the price of the gallon of gas has gone down so much that it's offset the increase in tariffs. So companies are less and less having to eat into their profits. They can raise the price on you, but you don't feel the price rise because it's already the price it was. They just haven't walked the price back down. So nothing's changed for you. Wages have started going up again, so you're feeling okay. And it's because of the gas prices. Not just the gas prices, but the deregulation of the energy and the loosening of permit restrictions on the industry. By getting rid of the massive amount of regulations these companies have had to follow, by speeding up the licensing and permitting process for these companies, the president has been able to bring down the global price of oil. And yes, the president of the United States, Donald John Trump, deserves the credit for it. Why? Because Saudi Arabia wouldn't do it for Joe Biden. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, they did not want anything to do with pumping more oil while Joe Biden was president because they did not like him. He would show up and lecture them. He would pee in their bowl of Cheerios. They weren't very happy with him. Donald Trump is there and they like him. They are friends and they're like, let's help this guy and do what he wants. Let's pump the oil. Through his personal appeal, through the appeals of his administration, through the structure of the programs, grants, treaties, and deals he struck, and through the signaling to the oil industry that you can pump oil and we will not sue you, we will protect you. The price of a barrel of oil is down, and the price of a gallon of gas at the pump is lower than it was during COVID. Our economy is not strong. It looks strong. There are fundamental underlying weaknesses. But because the president has been able to get gas prices lower through his appeals to other nations and his policies at home, we have time to fix the weaknesses, and you are protected from feeling their effects. These are not weaknesses caused by Donald Trump. They're pre-existing weaknesses. But because of his policies and his foresight in deregulating, in fixing the permitting process, in getting companies to produce more oil, and getting countries to produce more oil, he's made it easier on you. He's brought down your costs. And in the process, he's been able to implement policies that would otherwise cost you, but now you don't feel the pain of the policies because prices have stayed where they are instead of coming down. But now part of the price is the tariff, but the price that you pay hasn't changed. He's been able to boost revenue to Washington's to help pay down the debt. Now, here's an underlying problem, and this gets to the economic problem, is he's using tariffs to pay down debt, but the debt is still going up because Congress has just decided to go along with this and not stop the president on the tariffs, which is a tax on you. And as a result, you're getting taxed, and the money's going to pay down the profligate spending of Washington, and Washington is engaged in even more profligate spending. We're headed to underlying economic weakness in this country in large part because of the national debt and the spending of Congress. That's not really the president's fault. He's certainly helping spin the problem. He's certainly participating in the problem, but it predates him. But the policy that Donald Trump is doing, that Donald Trump is not getting credit for, is oil production in this country and around the world. It is not a coincidence that the oil-rich nations of the Middle East did not want to produce oil. And remember, when Joe Biden was president, the Democrats were suggesting it was a brazen conspiracy to help Donald Trump. It wasn't, but it was designed to hurt Joe Biden. They didn't like him. They didn't like the way Joe Biden treated them. They didn't like the way Joe Biden lectured them. They didn't like Joe Biden working with the Iranians. They didn't like him cutting a deal with the Iranians. And so they decided not to give Joe Biden what he wanted, reasonable gas prices. With Donald Trump, they like him. He likes them. They have a great relationship. And here, oil companies in this country know they're not going to get sued by the Department of Justice or the Enviro wackos while Donald Trump is president. So they're producing gas and oil, and you and I benefit. The president deserves the credit for the price of gas going down. Events may change things. The price will definitely go back up at some point. But for right now, he was very shrewd in doing what he could to get energy prices down in order to do so many of the other things he wanted to do. And he deserves the credit.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center, trying to recover that ride into Midtown on I-85 southbound, leaving Georgia 400. That earlier crash on 7585 south past 17th Street still sits on the right shoulder. We've been watching rolling construction, 285 westbound, the inner loop getting past the airport in the left lane right now. They're right at the 285 I-85 interchange. And you got the right lane construction out of Decula into Lawrenceville, 316 westbound at High Hope Road, causing some brake lights, leaving Cedars Road. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/stream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. You can't win if you don't enter. Enter now at overheaddooratlanta.com. That's overheaddooratlanta.com.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th. Because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today, we're talking with the experts about Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows.
How does a homeowner know exactly when to replace their windows?
If your windows are rotting, old, or if you just want that updated look for your home, it's a good time to consider new windows. Other visible problems like foggy glass, drafts, and safety issues also come to mind.
Tell me about timing. Is there a best time to do a window replacement project?
We're really fortunate in Georgia to be able to do window installations all year long. As the cost of materials increase, the sooner the better in terms of saving money and improving your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and value.
Okay, now that we know when to replace windows, what information would you like to share about your window product?
Our Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows outperform all other window types. They're stronger and they have longer lasting energy efficiency. They won't warp like vinyl or rot like wood. And our narrow frames give you more daylight and bigger views.
Anything else, Jonathan?
We just want to take care of our customers by building a better way to a better window, which is why we include a lifetime service warranty and a limited lifetime product warranty for all.
Jonathan and Ted, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, and expertise. Right now at North Georgia Replacement Windows, it is time for spectacular October savings. You'll save 18% off your project, plus up to 12 months no interest, no payment financing. Come and visit us and see all the possibilities at our beautiful Alpharetta showroom. And visit us online for all the financing details. ngwindows.com. Hurry, these offers end October 31st, 2025. 18% off your project, plus up to 12 months, no interest, no payments. Get all the details. ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
The White House says that they're tearing down the East Wing of the White House that was built during the FDR administration to make room for a new ballroom. And now, I have always found it very endearing that the President of the United States does not live in a palace, but a house. It's actually, when this country was formed, it was the largest house in the United States. People forget that. But still a house, not a palace, because he's a man of the people. He's not a king among us. And this president, trying to secure his legacy before he is term limited out of office, is building this giant ballroom. And I actually don't like the look of the ballroom. I think it's just gaudy. I think the gold plate in the White House, it's like it looks like something European, and we're not European. And all the gold leaf and the rococo, it's like a French whorehouse or something. I don't like it. But I'm not offended by the president building the ballroom. I don't like the look of it. I think it's bigger than the actual White House. I think there were ways to recess it partially underground to make it less big on the White House grounds. I realize all the president's supporters will be cheering it on, but all the president's haters are claiming it's corrupt, it's built with bribe money, it's all sorts. No, it's not. The American taxpayers on the hook for nothing. Most things at the White House that are built with donor money, from the bowling alley to the putting green to the gym to the pool. And this is no different. I disagree with building this particular ballroom. I kind of like the state dining room and the more intimate events you have at the White House, but I really couldn't care less that he's building it and find the outrage from the left to be particularly hypocritical given the things the left has done in the White House and the things they've built there. Trump gets to do it. You just don't like it. I don't like the building. I don't care that he's doing it. Now, let me tell you about Vision Computer. You, my friends, could go to Vision Computers and build yourself a computer. You can get your computer upgraded. You go to visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. You tell them Eric sent you, and you can save even more money. And if you've got managed IT for your company, your employees could actually be dealing with real humans and not AI chatbots. If you use Vision Computer, they'll get a special number they can call, and in 15 seconds or less, they'll be able to get an actual human being on the phone and solve their computer problems faster than a Google search and more precise than a computer-generated AI. They get to talk to someone. They don't have to fill out email tickets, so your uptime increases, your downtime decreases, your profitability goes up, and your employees can be really good at their jobs and don't have to worry about their computers. That's Vision's job. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Any one of you nationwide, from Alaska to Florida to Maine to California, doesn't matter. Tell them Eric sent you, 404-COMPUTE. Your company could save some money, so reach out to Vision Computers. See if they can help you stay online and build your computers or upgrade your existing computer. Individuals and businesses, 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. Good afternoon. It's 12:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. This just in: Stockbridge police searching right now for a 38-year-old burglary suspect who escaped from police custody. 38-year-old Brittany Caldwell, accused of stealing clothing and other items from a home on Black Hall Road. She was later taken to Piedmont Henry Hospital for evaluation, but she escaped while being escorted to the restroom. Anybody who has information about her whereabouts should contact Stockbridge Police or Crime Stoppers. Your weather for today: sunny, breezy, and staying cool. Afternoon highs in the upper 60s, lower 70s, says WSP meteorologist Christina Edwards. And DeKalb County Police, they're investigating what appears to be a fatal hit and run involving a pedestrian. This is near the area of Lawrenceville Highway and Hollywood Lane. A 40-year-old victim found lying in the road, rushed to the hospital but died from his injuries. Anybody with information being asked to call DeKalb County Police. We do have an update from Brookhaven Police on that hit and run. There, the dump truck driver accused in that deadly pedestrian accident Tuesday, 54-year-old Omar Ali of Mableton, facing several charges now, including vehicular homicide, felony hit and run. Police say that he hit and killed a 20-year-old woman who was crossing the road in a crosswalk on Claremont Road at Dresden. He left the scene after hitting her but returned about 20 minutes later. There is a Coca-Cola recall. Some Coca-Cola products under recall today because they may have pieces of metal in them. The FDA saying that some of the 35-pack and 12-pack cases of canned Coke Zero, Coke, and Sprite could be impacted. And now your money. The holiday season just around the corner, and it looks like that turkey's going to cost you a lot more this year. Kelly O'Grady says it's because there's not as many of them.
Last year, your Thanksgiving meal cost about $58 for 10 people. That was down from 2023, but up nearly 20% versus 2020. This year, though, the turkeys, they're up. There were 3% fewer turkeys raised versus last year. That was partly due to the avian flu outbreak, partly less demand, but it's a swing of 5 million turkeys, so less supply means the wholesale prices, they're up to $1.32 per pound.
And she says prices are up about 40% this year compared to last. It's $12.32.
Rodents can be crafty, but the squirrel is the smartest. They don't even put all their nuts in one nest. Oh, no. They have multiple homes, and right now they're looking for new real estate. Don't let your attic become their next retreat. Dave Baker here for Breda Pest Management. If you're hearing scratching in your attic, it's too late. Squirrels have already moved in. Better call Breda to kick those squirrels out. It'll be like they were never there. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
So many estimates. Get off the home exterior roller coaster. Save time and money. Get it all done in one with Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the owner of Painting Plus. Over 30 years, we've mastered everything exteriors. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
Painting Plus. Anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story.
I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Seeing a slowdown on the south side perimeter, Sabrina, 285 eastbound, the outer loop passing Boulder Crest Road, exit 51, really stacked up, leaving 675. I'm going to investigate that and see what's going on there. Elsewhere, if you're traveling 285 westbound, the inner loop in near the airport, tapping that brake pedal as you pass I-85 with that rolling left lane construction down there in College Park. And you got the right lane construction in Gwinnett County, 316 westbound at High Hope Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and breezy today with a high near 70. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool tonight. Lows in the mid-40s.
All right, more news 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
You're going to have to humor me with a personal note for a moment. I am on the radio, as you know, in Atlanta, Georgia. It's my flagship station, and I was a lawyer in Middle Georgia for a number of years and met a guy. His name is Boozer McClure. He is my tailor. I don't have a lot of suits, but the suits that I have are, with few exceptions, his. I met him when I was a young lawyer. He actually cut me a deal on my first suit because I badly needed one and really couldn't afford one. I was a poor lawyer at the time. My wife's boss, who was the president of our alma mater, Mercy University, used Boozer a lot, and I still do. In fact, I wanted to make some suits as Christmas presents for some friends of mine. Great guy, and I found out recently he is running for the city council in Marietta, Georgia. And so if you live in Marietta, Georgia, I can't tell you how much this guy would be a great addition to your city council. So if you're in Marietta in the ward in which Boozer McClure is running, you should absolutely vote for Boozer McClure for city council in Marietta. He's not even paying me. He's not even cutting a deal. He didn't even know I was going to do it, but I wanted to do it. I had no idea he was running for office. What a great guy. Now, the other thing for those of you in Georgia, where I've got about 20 affiliates, you should know that the Public Service Commission election is happening right now. Early voting's going on right now. The election is the first Tuesday in November. There are two actual far-left progressives who wish to go on the Public Service Commission in Georgia. And what they're doing is they want to do equitable power rates, which means your power rates must go up so that the data centers can come in. Right now in Georgia, the way the rule works is that if a data center wants to come in, the power companies aren't allowed to raise your power rate. The data center has to cover 100% of its power cost. It can't share the wealth with the rest of us. The progressives, oddly enough, want to allow sharing the wealth so that your power rates go up. Why would progressives want to do that? Because then they can say, well, we need solar power because the natural gas and coal and nuclear is too expensive. And so they actually want to raise your rates so that you might embrace solar power. So if you want to stop the madness and the progressives, you Republicans need to go vote right now. You can do it today. The election is the first Tuesday in November. And it really, really, really does matter. Now, we got to move on to other things. I got my local stuff out of the way. But seriously, those of you in Georgia, you need to go vote. And if you live in Marietta, vote for Boozer McClure. We got to talk about the New York freak out, because the billionaires in New York are starting to freak out. I don't know Bill Ackman, the billionaire investor, but he is going on a tirade today about Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa, S-L-I-W-A, Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa is, well, remember the Guardian Angels? He wears the red beret. For those of you who don't know his backstory, the mob put out a hit on this guy back in the day. Why? Because he was a community organizer, is a community organizer, the executive officer of the Guardian Angels, which is a nonprofit crime prevention organization. In 1977, he created the Magnificent 13, a civilian group dedicated to combating violence and crime on the subway. When the city was experiencing a subway, they changed their name to the Guardian Angels in 1979. A lot of them are black or Hispanic. They were unarmed. They were trained in karate. They learned the requirements for a citizen's arrest. They wore red berets to signify they were members of the Guardian Angels. And they decided to go make New York safe as citizen vigilantes is what they were called. In fact, Ed Koch, remember him, the famous mayor of New York? He criticized it, launched an investigation. And actually, in being a critic and launching an investigation, turns out the Guardian Angels were so popular that they were awarded with a level of official status. Mario Cuomo, the then lieutenant governor of New York, actually was a very, very famous early supporter of the organization. In 1992, speaking about the Crown Heights riots and the Hasidic Jews, Sliwa said, the difference between Hasids and black New Yorkers, there's no fear that the Jewish community is going to come to the streets and loot and rob and rape. When in my lifetime I've ever seen a Hasidic Jew grab anyone's pocketbook. And of course, there were lots and lots of people who screamed racism about it. But what you cannot deny about Curtis Sliwa is that he actually loves New York City. In April of 1992, Curtis Sliwa was assaulted outside his East Side home, beaten by 3 men 24 times with baseball bats. He suffered a broken wrist and head injuries from the assault. John Gotti, the mob boss, turned out to be behind the attack. In June, several months later, June 19th, 1992, Curtis Sliwa was kidnapped and shot by 2 gunmen after entering a stolen taxi in Manhattan. The taxi picked up Sliwa from his home in the East Village, and a gunman hiding in the front passenger seat jumped up and fired several shots, hitting him in the groin and leg. The kidnapping was foiled when Sliwa leaped from the front window of the moving cab and escaped and underwent surgery for internal injuries and leg wounds. Federal prosecutors charged John Gotti, the son of the Gambino crime family leader John Gotti, with attempted murder and other charges. Prosecutors claimed Gotti was angered by remarks Sliwa had made about Gotti's father, John Gotti, the mob boss, on the radio. After 3 attempts to try him, 3 separate juries couldn't agree to convict him on charges brought. The charges were dropped. Jurors later told the reporters they believed he had a role in the shooting. The mob has targeted Curtis Sliwa for battling the mob to bring safety to New York. Gangs have targeted Curtis Sliwa for bringing safety to New York. Curtis Sliwa formed an activist group of black and Hispanic men to patrol the subways of New York City to keep people safe. He loves the city of New York. And he ran as a Republican for mayor of New York, unopposed, and he got the nomination. Now, Andrew Cuomo ran for mayor of New York as a Democrat. He ran a terrible primary campaign, and he lost to Zoran Mamdani, the communist. Andrew Cuomo, the man who sexually harassed his employees and killed your grandmother, thinks that Curtis Sliwa should drop out of the race because Andrew Cuomo is convinced that only he can win. The polling shows that Curtis Sliwa is running in third place, and that if Andrew Cuomo had Curtis Sliwa's votes, he would win, except that presumes that all of Curtis Sliwa's voters would want to vote for the man who killed their grandmother, which is not true. It presumes that Republicans would jump ship to vote for the man they long voted against as a Cuomo to stop Zoran Mamdani, which is not a guarantee. Pressure is being brought to bear on Curtis Sliwa to get him out of the race. This is a man who the mob shot, and he still battles the mob. You really think you're going to bully him to get out of the race in New York? The billionaires, Bill Ackman is on social media attacking Curtis Sliwa, claiming that his wife and him are getting money of some kind, that they're essentially being paid to stay in the race, which is utter nonsense. Curtis Sliwa has stayed in the race because he believes in New York City, and he believes in his ability, and he believes he won the nomination, unlike Andrew Cuomo. And Andrew Cuomo could drop out because he is running as a third party, having lost the Democratic primary. I don't think Curtis Sliwa has a chance in hell of winning in New York City. And I don't think Andrew Cuomo has a chance in hell of winning in New York City. And I think New York's voters are going to get exactly what they deserve with Zoran Mamdani, and I can't wait for them to get it good and hard. I want New York City to become the third world hellhole that we all predict it's going to become, so people realize that socialists, communists like Zoran Mamdani are bad. I want the entire country to look at the degradation of New York City under Zoran Mamdani and say, we can't vote for progressives here because we don't want to wind up like New York City. I think the bullying billionaires who are bullying Curtis Sliwa to drop out should maybe bully Andrew Cuomo, who didn't kill their grandmothers because they were too old and their grandmothers were already dead, to maybe show some compassion to the New Yorkers whose grandmothers were killed because of Andrew Cuomo's policies, and tell Cuomo, hey, big guy, maybe you should get out of the race and let Sliwa have a shot at it. But they're not doing that. Because the billionaires of New York City, Bill Ackman included, they don't walk a mile in your shoes. They pay big money so their kids don't have to go to the public schools of New York. They pay big money so they don't have to be confronted by the problems on the street that Curtis Sliwa has in his career confronted. All they see is polling. You know, I'm a big believer in polling. Bigger believer than any of you. I think polling averages are pretty good, and I think there are some good pollsters. But here's what I know the polling actually shows, is that if Sliwa were to get out tomorrow, a good portion of his base would not go vote for Andrew Cuomo, and even if you combined them all and gathered them together, they still wouldn't have enough to beat Zoran Mamdani. And you know, part of the problem is that the billionaires of New York City have built their sky palaces, and they have nothing to do with the rest of the people of New York City. And unlike Curtis Sliwa, they haven't built relationships in the subways with the middle class and the lower middle class. They haven't actually put their lives on the line to keep people safe and transform New York City, but they somehow put their faith in a politician who killed your grandmother and sexually harassed his employees, and they think that guy is going to be the one to save New York City. Bill Ackman, billionaires of New York City, you have no idea who I am, but I need you to know something. I ran political campaigns very successfully in this country. I'm a pretty popular nationally syndicated radio show host. In my flagship station, a massive market, I'm the #1 radio show in the demo, and I know you know what the demo means. And I can tell you something from my years of experience as a lawyer for politicians, as a campaign manager for politicians, and as a campaign consultant for politicians, and as someone who pays attention to the political process by virtue of my job, and I dare say pays more political attention and better attention than you and your gatekeepers who guard your money for you, who have decided that they are political experts by virtue of being tied to your money. And I can tell you what it is. When your entire campaign for success is premised on forcing someone else out of the race in a general election, you've already lost. If Andrew Cuomo can't win a general election but for someone else dropping out of the race, Andrew Cuomo's already lost the election. Andrew Cuomo had a shot at being the Democratic primary candidate, and he lost. In fact, he ran a terrible campaign and didn't do all the opposition research and attacks he should have done on Mamdani at the time. And he should not now be rewarded for running a terrible primary election campaign by virtue of punishing the man who actually put in the work to get his party's nomination. And you can say he ran unopposed, but then you know what? Andrew Cuomo could have run as a Republican and had the head-to-head showdown there, but he chose not to. He chose to run a terrible campaign in a Democratic election, and then he lost, and because New York doesn't have the sore loser laws they should have had, decided to run as an independent candidate, and he was able to force out the opportunist Eric Adams, but he can't force out the man who actually believes he put in the work to save the city and wants a chance to stand before the electors. So I'm sorry, Bill Ackman and the rest of you, you're not going to get the man out of the race. And you're going to lose to the communist who's going to give you and the rest of New York the policies you guys actually deserve and give them to you good and hard, because you had the opportunity to build inroads with the middle class and the lower middle class like Curtis Leawood did, and instead you took your private jets and your helicopters and lived in your sky palaces and avoided the middle class and improving the actual city of New York other than dropping your money so you get your names on buildings, which isn't actually the way to improve the lives of anyone, just makes you look good. So I'm sorry the communist is about to get elected. Maybe you should consider what you did to get to this point to have a communist elected in New York City instead of driving out of the race a man who literally took bullets for his city.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up into Cobb County. There's some debris scattered in the left lanes, I-85 northbound before Chamblee Tucker Road, exit number 94. So just look out for that. Stay to your right as you try to head up toward I-285. Elsewhere, 75 and northbound up in Cartersville. We've got that construction at Red Top Mountain Road, exit 285. At least one lane block there, slowing the ride out of Emerson. Traffic is brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in two left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit aquaguard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the portfolio x-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the portfolio x-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well. And I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Your friends at Steel Horse Law are motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They've mastered safely riding our Georgia roads, and they've mastered the unexpected twists and turns of Georgia law. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. With all the changes in Georgia law, you need the most experienced local motorcycle injury law firm to protect your rights. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get a free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Y'all, we've just gone through a news cycle over the last week where a group of young Republicans, none of whom are running for office, were in a group chat, some of whom saying things about praising Hitler and the Nazis. And the National Press Corps vilified them. And I think I and other Republicans who criticized them were correct to do so. But you know what? We've got a Maine comp candidate, that would be the Democratic candidate in Maine, who has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. The tattoo that he has is the symbol for the Nazi corps that organized and oversaw the Holocaust. He actually has that tattoo. The Associated Press and others that piled on the Republican kids for their Nazi group chat are calling it, some see it as a symbol. No, it actually was a symbol of one of the Nazi groups. What is it, the Toppentrupp or whatever? That the SS that organized the Holocaust and carried it out. That's the tattoo he got. It's not seen as, it actually was the symbol of that Nazi group, and he got it tattooed on his chest. And the Democrats and members of the press who denounced the Republican kids group chat, none of whom are running for office, are giving passes to this guy. The Pod Bros, the Pod Saves America Bros, who were outraged about the Republican group chat, they're like, nah, it's just a tattoo, just one drunken night. I mean, they do this with this group chat. None of these kids are running for office, and yet with Jay Jones, the Attorney General candidate in Virginia, who wanted to murder a Republican and kill his kids, you're like, I was just a text message. This guy, who is a noted history fan and history buff, gets a Nazi tattoo, and they're like, I was just a tattoo one crazy night. Can you understand why so many Republicans are willing to circle the wagons around their bad actors? Because not a single Democrat or member of the press who will attack Republicans over group chats is willing to stand up and denounce a man for getting a tattoo of the group that conducted the Holocaust on his chest, including Bernie Sanders, who's defending him. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. They would like to be your bank. They can be your bank if you go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K. Old Glory Bank's my bank. They're a bank by conservatives for conservatives. They were started to combat the debanking trends of the left, and they also didn't like the fact that there were a lot of banks now where you can't even go use your debit card if you're in a gun store or something. And they're like, no, we don't like that, so we're going to start a bank for conservatives. It's the fastest growing bank in America. oldglorybank.com/Eric. They are a fantastic bank. I've got a checking account with them. I've got a savings account with them. You can too. You can do home loans with them, CDs. If you're a veteran or first responder, if you're active duty military, you get great discounts, including waiver of fees on premium accounts if you're active duty military. Go find out more at oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. They really are my bank.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by
when
them.
you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. This just in, a bizarre incident in Cobb County ends with a man dead and the GBI being called in to investigate. Last night, just after 6 o'clock, Cobb police responded to a hit-and-run call and found a man, 47-year-old Timothy Sheets, walking down the road. He told the officer he'd been shot. The officer at the time did not see any visible injuries and asked Sheets to get in the car for his safety. Sheets refused, started walking into traffic. The officer said he used his taser to prevent the man from running into traffic. EMS arrived on scene. Sheets became unresponsive. He was taken to the hospital where he died. The GBI is now investigating. Your weather for today, mostly sunny, staying cool. Afternoon highs only in the upper 60s, lower 70s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Emergency bridge repair work underway on I-75 in Clayton County.
Crews are putting in materials needed to shore up that section of the bridge to get those lanes back open. So we, of course, will not open those lanes until it is safe.
Now, the DOT's Natalie Dale says that the bridge crosses over Meadowbrook Lane between Mount Zion Boulevard and State Route 54. Nothing hit the bridge. There's some material crumbling from underneath. Inspectors will determine if more extensive work is needed. She says if that is the case, then that would be scheduled during non-peak hours. You'll want to stay with us for traffic updates. We'll help you get around it all. And DeKalb County police investigating what appears to be a fatal hit and run involving a pedestrian. This is near the area of Lawrenceville Highway and Hollywood Lane. A 40-year-old victim found lying in the road. He was rushed to the hospital but later died from his injuries. Anybody with information being asked to call DeKalb County Police. This is National Teen Safety Driving Week, which is an opportunity for parents and young drivers to review important safety practices. And one thing that's often overlooked, the condition of your tires.
Alex Bibiak lost his teenage son tragically in an accident caused by bald tires. He started the Road Ready Foundation to raise awareness about tire safety and says one easy step is checking for tire tread depth.
The quarter test, you stick George Washington's head into the tread, and if you can see above the top of George Washington's head, so that's your first sign that I'm probably going to have to replace these tires.
He says proper inflation is also a true safety issue and says tires that are more than 6 years old, regardless of their mileage, should be replaced because they begin to decompose from the inside. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Let's check your money this afternoon. The Dow's down almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's down more than a full percent. And the S&P's in the red, down more than 0.5% here at 102.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, 16-ounce packs of Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef are on sale for only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Fall is a busy time and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can receive the strongest cash offer in the industry and move when you're ready. Mark Spain Real Estate has more than 13,000 five-star reviews, so you can trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home quickly and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Wall cracks, window stuck, could be a foundation problem. Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack, and our estimators are thoroughly trained to get you the proper evaluation for your home. Schedule your free assessment with the foundation repair experts at atlantaramjack.com.
Dave Baker for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Simply go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on a new Toyota Tundra. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, still tapping the brakes. 85 northbound into Cobb County, where they're trying to clear the debris out of the left lanes just north of Shallowford Road, exit 93. Still got the right lane construction in Lawrenceville. 316 westbound at High Hope Road, causing a few brake lights out of Decula. And then up in Cartersville, you're slow through the work zone. I-75 northbound, that construction got barrels in a lane at Red Top Mountain Road, exit number 285. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy, and staying cool today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight. Lows in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday, high 74.
65 degrees in Sugar Hill. Forest Park, you have 67. It's sunny and 66 right now in Dunwoody. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be happy to have you with me. Do not forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast. If you live in the state of Georgia, you have a Public Service Commission election, and there are communists running. Go vote for the incumbents to stop the communist takeover of the Public Service Commission in Georgia. Go vote, please. We got to talk about healthcare a little more, because I kicked the hornet's nest yesterday, and I didn't mean to. Yesterday on the program, I was talking about I would like to be able to provide health care for my employees. I only have 6 total employees if I count myself. I'd love to be able to provide health care for my employees, but I can't. It's too expensive. I don't make enough money with my radio syndication business right now. We're on less than 100 stations, hoping to get to 100 by the end of the year. But we don't make enough money for me to be able to provide health care. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's a CFO for a private school in my town that has a couple hundred employees, and he said that they're having massive insurance hikes for the company. If you're a large business in this country and you have over 1,000 employees, you can get a reasonably good nationwide insurance policy, particularly if you're spread out across the nation. You actually can do, it's still expensive, but it's easier for you if you're a multi-thousand person company with employees across multiple states to get a health care plan than it is if you have like 10 employees or 100 employees in a single state. It's extremely expensive. A friend of mine who actually works just down the street from where I'm broadcasting took over his father's company. His father, Tom Wagner, was a dear friend of mine and my wife's. And my wife was the assistant to the president of Mercy University for a number of years, my alma mater. And they used the company Core Management to handle their insurance. They were self-insured, essentially, and they structured an insurance plan. And Tom sadly passed away a number of years ago. Great, just phenomenal man. His son took over the business, and we were talking not that long ago about it. And he says he's just advising more and more really small businesses that you're going to have to pay your employees a little extra and put them on Obamacare, that there's just no financially viable option anymore for small businesses. There used to be before Obamacare. There used to be options for small businesses to be able to pay employees and give them meaningful health insurance. The problem is Obamacare by design was designed to drive up healthcare insurance premiums. Why? Why would the government design something? Because what was the end game? According to Barack Obama, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, was a halfway point between what we had and what he wanted, which was government-controlled health insurance. The Democrats, particularly the socialist left, fundamentally believe in government-controlled health care in the United States. And what the Affordable Care Act was designed to do was to not make it affordable. They did the same word game as the Inflation Reduction Act that Joe Biden did. The Inflation Reduction Act actually didn't reduce inflation. It made inflation worse. The Affordable Care Act actually didn't make health care affordable. It made it more expensive. It's the word games that the left plays, even when they do legislation. The intention of Obamacare was always to drive up the cost of privately funded insurance so that employers could no longer afford to give it to employees, which would create a national demand for a government take over the healthcare sector. It's what the Democrats want because the Democrats idealize Scotland and England and Canada and countries around the world with government-controlled healthcare. There are a lot of problems with government-controlled healthcare, including that it doesn't work well in those countries. Now, there are lots of people who will tell you it works well, but if you're someone with a critical need in those countries, good luck getting in. In Canada, at this point, you're more likely to get a prescription for euthanasia than you are chemotherapy, it seems. It's a little bit of exaggeration on my part, but not far. You have people in Canada, veterans who suffer PTSD, they offer them euthanasia as an option instead of therapy. That is not an exaggeration. Let's start with the starting point here. The United States has 340 million people. We represent 4.1% of the global population. China represents 17.2%. India represents 17.3%. The United States, for perspective, the United States of America is the third most populous country on planet Earth. You have 1.41 billion people in India, 1.40 billion people in China, and 340 million people in the United States. You know who number 4 is? Indonesia, 284 million people. Pakistan has 241 million. Nigeria has 223 million. Brazil has 213 million. Bangladesh, 169 million. Russia, 146 million. Mexico, 130 million. We are the only first world nation, because I don't include China. China's a third world nation that thinks it's first world nation. We're the only first world developed nation on planet Earth in the top 10 for population. The second first world developed nation is Japan, and it's number 11 at 123 million. You have to scroll all the way down to number 20 for the United Kingdom. 69 million people. We're 340 million people. The United Kingdom is 69 million people, or 0.8%. In the United Kingdom, they are far more homogenous. Despite all the talk about the Muslim takeover of the United Kingdom and the colonies and the like, the United Kingdom is far more homogenous than us. Canada is even whiter than the UK. It's only got 41.6 million people, or 0.5% of the global population. And the left loves the Scottish healthcare system. They've got 5.5 million people. We have 340 million people. Scotland has 5.5 million lily white people. We have way more people from way more places all over the United States, and rural and urban divides. And healthcare, by the way, is not a federal government power. It's a state power. And you have to remember, Obamacare was salvaged by John Roberts as a tax. I don't think that the federal government actually has the power to offer universal health care. I still think Obamacare should have been declared unconstitutional, and I think John Roberts learned his lesson, played it too clever, thinking Mitt Romney would get elected in 2012 and fix the thing, and that's why he bought the GOP a lifeline. And what has the GOP done with the lifeline? Absolutely nothing. The Republican Party in the United States has offered no substantive alternative to health care from Obamacare. Absolutely nothing. There are certainly think tanks out there who have proffered ideas, and many of them are health savings accounts, and, oh, we shouldn't actually pay for oil changes any more than we should pay for your annual checkup. You should have to pay out of pocket for that, and that would bring the price down. I mean, we've got some we got a circle of jerks in Washington, D.C. going blind in the bathroom, and think tanks coming up with unpractical ideas for dealing with health care on the Republican side. You know, there actually are some things Republicans could do to deal with health care. There is some data first, and I want to read you a tweet. This is from Amy Klobuchar. Early retirees, this is a CNBC article she's linking to about a couple named Bill and Shelley. Early retirees like Bill and Shelley will see their health insurance premiums increase nearly 300%. From $442 to $1,700 per month if congressional Republicans refuse to extend the enhanced tax credits. That's an extra $15,000 a year families can't afford. Now, you should note that Amy Klobuchar actually voted to get rid of the Obamacare subsidy that was extended during COVID, and now she wants it back. So Bill and Shelley's health insurance premiums increase nearly 300% if the subsidy from the federal government goes away. Bill and Shelley Gall say they'd be rich if it weren't for their medical bills. How sympathetic. This is the actual story she's linking to. The early retirees who are on an insurance plan purchased through the Affordable Care Act marketplace spent upwards of $20,000 on health care expenses and insurance premiums in 2023 and 2024, largely due to chronic health issues and emergency eye surgeries. The couple's on pace for a slightly smaller sum this year if they're lucky. But next year, the Galls, who live in Meridian, Idaho, are bracing for their costs to grow significantly. This actually doesn't sell Obamacare, does it? Shouldn't it? Now, here's the galling thing, and this is a reply. This is from a guy, his Twitter account is Investor Nick. No wonder younger Americans hate the boomers so much. These people retired early in their 50s. They're getting a $127,000 a year pension plus Social Security. They got their cake and their cookies on the side. Imagine being in your 20s and 30s struggling and then reading this kind of stuff. Look at the comments. So they're in their early 50s. They retired early. They get over $100,000 a year in pension, and now they're having to pay their own insurance costs, and they're upset. They don't want to go back to work. They just want you and me to pay their health care bills. That's what they want. These are the sympathetic people Amy Klobuchar is highlighting. According to the Wall Street Journal, the average cost of a family health insurance plan is nearly $27,000. The cost rose steeply a third year in a row, reaching just under $27,000 for a family plan. This is a 6% increase from the year before and builds on 2 prior years of 7% gains. The cost is rising faster than inflation, and economists and business leaders says it could bite into employment and wage growth. If healthcare costs go up faster than the economy in general, that means there's less money left over to go to wages. J.H. Barra Paving Company in St. Louis is struggling with this trade-off. The company is facing a 15% health insurance rate increase this year on top of last year's increase. That extra cost is likely to put a lid on wage increases for the company's workers. They've got 1,860 employees. Or a KFF survey, which includes more than 1,860 employers, was completed earlier this year, offering a detailed snapshot of workplace insurance. Nearly half of the U.S. population gets health care coverage through a job. The rising cost of employer coverage is driven by higher health care spending. Insurers and employers point to rising rates of conditions, including cancer in the working age population. Hospital prices have gone up as health care providers have negotiated higher rates of their contracts. Employers are seeing increased outlays on new and costly therapies, particularly the GLP-1 weight loss drugs. You know, there are some ways Republicans could lower costs. They could get rid of the mandates. Do you know if you're a man and you get on an Affordable Care Act plan, you have to pay for your pregnancy? You have to pay for mammograms? You got to pay for your own pap smear if you're a dude. And I'm talking like a real dude, not a trans dude, but you're a real human being, man, born as a man, identifying as a man. You still have to pay for a pap screening test you'll never use. You have to pay for a mammography test you'll never use. You have to pay for your pregnancy costs, though you will never get pregnant, because the Affordable Care Act mandates you do. You could actually get rid of the strict insurance requirements that are found under Obamacare and allow people to more customize their plans for what they actually need, and rates would come down just because you wouldn't be forced to cover as much stuff. Obamacare also doesn't allow the pooling of coverage. If you've got a company and I've got a company and we're in the same business, we're not allowed to combine forces for economies of scale in insurance. We're not allowed to do that. Republicans could allow them to do that. There are some very simple things Republicans could do to begin to bring down costs. But also, contrary to the belief the media and the Democrats would perpetuate, the system we had before Obamacare was actually cheaper and better. More people were able to get more affordable health care insurance, and you weren't breaking small businesses. Remember, Obamacare was designed to break health care, to force people to want government socialized medicine. Republicans have had all these years to say they hate Obamacare, and they have not yet once come up with a plan to challenge it. It's time to change, and Republicans need a free market solution to lower costs.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
121 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up in Marietta. Stalled RV. Hero is with it. Second right lane block, 75 southbound before Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Over in DeKalb County, they just finished up or should be clearing up that debris that's been in the left lanes. 85 and northbound north of Shallowford Road, exit 93. Still seeing a tap of the brakes there up towards Spaghetti Junction. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. Thursday at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, an early look at the weekend forecast for you. Clark Howard on why, yes, we're all going to have to learn to work with AI. And Scott Slade's Georgia this week, AI on a Georgia farm on WSB.
My wife makes incredible lasagna. It's actually, it's really good. She makes the sauce in a crock pot, but, you know, she hasn't been up. She doesn't like me. It's her recipe. And I wanted lasagna, and I had a meat lover's lasagna from Omaha Steaks in the freezer, and I made it, and it's delicious. It's not my wife's, but it's actually really, really good. They've also got breaded veal patties that I've used for veal parmesan. They've got chicken fettuccine alfredo. They don't just have steaks. They've got main course meals that you can make to save time for your family. And with tailgating season here, with the football season here, they've got lots of stuff to make for your friends. Burgers. They've got fantastic gourmet jumbo franks. They've got breakfast sausages. They have way more than just steaks. They've even got great crispy chicken tenders my kids love. OmahaSteaks.com. Maybe try the chicken skewers. You get $35 extra off if you use promo code ERIC at checkout. See site for detail. Terms and conditions apply. OmahaSteaks.com.
Dave Baker here for Randall Brothers. You know, I talk to a lot of quality contractors and builders every week, and I ask them, how do you manage to get all the right materials delivered to your site? The answer is always Randall Brothers. Turns out, that's what Randall Brothers does. Make sure you have the right materials delivered to the right place, hassle-free. And they've been doing that for over 140 years. With the widest selection of quality building materials delivered to your build site with no hassle, it's no wonder Randall Brothers is trusted by the pros. See more at randallbrothers.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $400 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Ever been looking for your favorite sweater only to find it in the bottom of the pile in your master closet, sitting on a wire rack, and when you put it on, you look like a waffle? Wouldn't be that way if you had Artisan Custom Closets upgrade your closets. Your clothes would remain beautiful all year. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. artisancustomclosets.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Yeah, you can call in 877-973-7425. Be patient with me on the phones. This is a short segment. I'll get to you. Can I just put in a plug for you to watch Slow Horses if you have Apple TV? It is back. We're 3 episodes in. It really is the best show on TV. And it's on a streaming service. You got to have Apple TV to watch it. But it's just so good. Warning, British language and humor. So there's lots of bad words. My gosh, I forgot the British and their language. Post-Christian society. They got lots of bad language. It's Gary Oldman, though, and it's such a good TV show. It really is a good TV show. The latest episode drops tonight, and it was such a, my God, I can't even, it was 5 seasons in. This is 5 seasons in, so there's 5 years worth of it, but they're only like, I think 10 episodes per season. It's a great binge watch. Slow Horses on Apple TV. I can't tell you the number of people I've recommended it to. Every single one of them has liked it except for one, but he was dropped on his head as a kid. And that's his explanation. Everybody other than somebody who's in the office through the wall has liked Slow Horses. So now, 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. When we come back, I got to talk to you about accountability. You know, the Democrats right now, they've got the Nazi running in Maine, and they refuse to recognize it. Republicans are refusing to hold their own side. I got a side story. It's not even about politics, about accountability and why it matters. But first, I need to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are going around the country doing what they can do to help conservatives advance common sense reforms at the local, the state, and the national level. Americans for Prosperity, they can teach you how to go door to door to explain why conservative policy matters to your neighbors and help get out the vote. They can teach you how to go to your local city council or school board or your state government or even your members of Congress to explain common sense conservative policies to them. Or they could just make you the most informed person in your circle of friends. So when your friends start talking about stuff, you already know the policies, the solutions, and where things stand in your local, state, or federal government. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to be the know-it-all for your friends? The guy they all come to answer their questions about public policy? afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to be the guy who turns out the vote and saves the elections for the right? afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to go to your state government, to the legislature, and advocate for school choice or tax reform or things like that? AFP Volunteer, they'll teach you how. They will empower you to make a difference. They have chapters in every single state. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com and sign up today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. In DeKalb County, police investigating what appears to have been a hit and run today involving a pedestrian. This is near the area of Lawrenceville Highway and Hollywood Lane. The person was hit appeared to be a man in their early 40s. He was rushed to the hospital but has died. Police asking anybody with information to give them a call. Your weather for today, mostly sunny, breezy, and we're staying on the cool side. Afternoon highs in the upper 60s, lower 70s today, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Emergency bridge repair work on I-75 in Clayton County today.
Crews are putting in materials needed to shore up that section of the bridge to get those lanes back open. So we, of course, will not open those lanes until it is safe.
Now, the DOT's Natalie Dale says that the bridge crosses over Meadowbrook Lane between Mount Zion Boulevard and State Route 54. Nothing hit the bridge. There's some material that's crumbling from underneath. Inspectors will determine if more extensive work might be needed, and she says if that's the case, then they will schedule that during non-peak hours. Governor Kemp traveling to South Korea 6 weeks after federal agents raided the massive Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia. This trip was planned before that happened. The governor is expected to meet with the leaders of corporations with plants located here in our state and try to reaffirm the relationship between Georgia and South Korea. And new findings show medical experts need to be more selective when it comes to prescribing antidepressants.
How antidepressants affect the body can vary widely based on which one you take. A study in The Lancet found different drugs impact a patient's heart rate, blood pressure, and weight in different ways.
And reporter Michael George says the study also finds that some medications cause a patient to lose weight, others cause weight gain, but researchers insist these findings should not deter patients from taking antidepressants if they are needed. As we take a look at the markets, we're in the red. The Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ currently down more than 1.5%, and the S&P's down almost a full percent. It's 132.
October is here, and this is a perfect month for home comfort. Dave Baker for Coolray Heating and Cooling. See, in October, it'll still get plenty warm during the day, but it will get cool at night. So with the purchase of a complete Carrier system, Coolray's offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free installation. That's heat, cool, and free installation. Get a jump start on keeping your home comfortable. Book your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Tomorrow. What might happen tomorrow? For many of us, it's very easy to spend way too much time speculating and worrying about the future. The Bible wisely guides us to never brag about how tomorrow will go and to never worry about it either. We need to trust tomorrow to God and stay fully focused on honoring Him with our lives today. This is Tom Gray, thanking Hardy Chevrolet GMC for their support.
We love you and we need you.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Jammed up around the airport, Sabrina. That rolling left lane roadwork is now on the outer loop, 285 eastbound. They're right around I-85 heading over to Riverdale Road, so that's slowing the 85 north and 285 south transitions to head over toward the airport, Riverdale Road, and those airport tunnels. Better news in DeKalb County. They cleared the debris out of the left lane, held all lanes to do so, but everything back open, 85 northbound, Shallowford Road, exit 93. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy, and staying cool today. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool for tonight. Lows in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday, high 74.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, very happy to have you. Before I move on, let me get to Amir waiting patiently. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing, Eric?
Great.
Hey, just want to say, I remember when this Obamacare came out that, automatically they exempted themselves, the senators, the congressmen, just about all federal employees. Everybody was exempt from that. Why is it? Why do they do it? If it's good for us, it should be great for them because they make plenty of money. They can afford to pay $25,000, $30,000 a year premiums for 1 year, or family of four. That should be nothing for them. And
right.
At the time. That Roberts, that you said that he kind of, I feel like he made the wrong decision. You're right there because he had a suggestion how the law should look in order to make it legal. Well, what should have happened is taking that suggestion back to Congress and have a vote on it as a tax and not as a fee or something like that. And I bet you if it was worded the right way and sent back to Congress, this way, it's almost like Robert said, hey, just word it this way, and I'll let it slide through. They worded it, but that was not voted like that in the Congress. It was voted as a different way. So I feel like that law should have should have not really count, period, because they didn't vote on that change after Robert suggested the change.
Right.
They never had a vote after that.
Well, and not only that, what they did do is they changed the individual mandate to be no longer enforced. And it actually did go back to the Supreme Court because Republicans in Texas filed suit and said, well, now that we've gotten rid of the Obamacare tax, it's no longer a tax. Surely it's unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court said, actually, no, they changed it enough that it's still constitutional. Look, unless the Republicans come up with an alternative, we're not getting rid of it, and they need to come up with an alternative. It's just absolutely, it's infuriating to me. And there are, for example, a lot of doctors now. In fact, I use a doctor who is the concierge service now. You pay a little bit a month, and he's pretty much on call all the time and takes care of stuff. And it's actually, for me and my needs, I mean, the guy's office is very close to me. I can call him when I need stuff, and we can do telemedicine, and it's way more convenient. And I really, really like what the process. My wife has a doctor that she uses that's regular with insurance and all that sort of stuff. And I just, there are lots of ways you can get around it, but a lot of them are a pain in the butt unless you got some money to deal with it. Jane, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi there.
My comment is similar to what you were just saying. I have a direct care doctor. I also have insurance because it doesn't cover hospital, but my direct care doctor is very convenient. I can call or text anytime, day or night, 24/7. The cost is $80 a month for me, and I get prescriptions through him, so I get them at his cost. So, example, one prescription I get was going to be $120 at the pharmacy, and I got it for $9. It's just a blood test, $600 through regular insurance costs me about $100 and something. So it's very helpful in that regard. And like I said, I do have insurance on top of that to cover hospitals. So
right.
I want you to make that comment. But
yeah, look,
I wish it's kind of like the old-fashioned doctor.
Right. I didn't know it was an option, and I discovered that it was, and it's so my doctor is at the retirement age, and just like, I'm tired of dealing with insurance, and actually a lot of his cost and overhead, he ran the numbers, were on having someone in-house who could fight with insurance and deal with insurance and file insurance, and he just went to, it's a flat fee a month, like $100 a month, and I can get in when I need to get in and see him when I need to see him and do telemedicine when I need to do telemedicine. And I get blood work done regularly, and it's just, it works. And it's a novel out of the box practice, but I think more and more people are going to go to it, and not every doctor can, not every doctor will. He didn't have any more medical loans and stuff, and he was able to transition his practice. And I think that it's something people need to consider, but Republicans need an answer. Now, I want to shift gears. I got to remind Republicans in Georgia, you have a Public Service Commission race, and go stop the communists, please, because a lot of Democrats are going to turn out. So please go stop the communists. Please go vote. Public Service Commission, vote for the incumbents, Fritz Johnson, and vote for Tim Echols, please. I think I'm going to say this in every segment of my show until the election now, because I'm worried about the communists taking over the Public Service Commission, and you need to stop them in Georgia. But that's not what I want to talk about. There have been a lot of conversations the last few weeks about accountability, and I find it very notable that the reporters and the Democrats who were highly outraged about a group of young Republicans and their group chat are giving a pass to a Democratic candidate who got a tattoo of the actual group of Nazis who carried out the Holocaust. They're upset about a group of kids who aren't running for office in their group chat. They are not upset about a Nazi running as a Democrat. I'm sorry, but if you're willing to get in, the guy claims to be an amateur historian. He's down with history. He got a tattoo on his chest of the SS group that carried out the Holocaust. If he were a Republican, it would be disqualified. Look at the Jerusalem cross. Pete Hegseth got the Jerusalem cross tattoo, and it was a dog whistle, according to the Left for White Nationalism, a dog whistle. I'm sorry, but the actual symbol of the SS group that carried out the Holocaust is not a dog whistle. That's a Nazi symbol you've decided to put on your chest. And interestingly enough, his former political director says he's the one who brought it up himself to get it out of the way, given all the other opposition research leaking out about him. It's very interesting to me that we have reached a phase in politics where neither the Republicans nor the Democrats really want to hold their own side accountable. And look at Jay Jones in Virginia. Democrats are going to go vote for a man who said he was comfortable with the idea of murdering a Republican politician and killing his children for the audacity of saying a nice thing at someone's funeral. Jay Jones is also the man who got out of going to jail by committing to do community service and did half of his community service for his own political action committee and had his staff lie about the nature of what he was doing to keep him from having to do actual community service. And the Democrats are perfectly fine with this guy. They would rather this guy than someone with an R next to their name who they all know is a good and competent man and ethical. There's a school near me. ACE, the Academy for Classical Education. It's a charter school. It started off as a charter school in my county. It has now become a state-chartered charter school, and kids from all over can go to this public school. In fact, a number of the private schools in Middle Georgia, where I live, have lost kids to this public charter school. Because you don't have to pay, it's a public school. They're notorious for their homework policies. The kids basically at the school are given so much homework they don't have time to get into trouble because they're overwhelmed with homework. It's busy work homework in many cases. It's not homework to actually improve their brains. It's just busy work to keep them busy at all times. I know a guy who was a teacher and coach at this school, and he was fired. He was fired because he was accused of being inappropriate towards a student in a bathroom at a golf club. He was helping the golf team, and someone claims to have seen him gone into the bathroom and behaved inappropriately with a student in the bathroom. The school fired him. Here's the thing. It didn't happen. In fact, he's filing a lawsuit against the school now. See, the school investigated. The school hired an outside investigator to investigate. Every kid was interviewed. Not a single kid saw anything. Not a single kid was involved. Not a single kid came forward to say anything inappropriate had happened. In fact, they all denied it. They all couldn't believe it. Every adult was interviewed. None of them saw anything. None of the students complained to them. There were no witnesses. There was no victim. The school concluded that whoever the person was who claimed it happened had not seen what he said happened or she said happened. We don't know who the complainant was, but there are no victims. There are no eyewitnesses. There's nothing. One person claims they saw it. That person is anonymous. But the school decided to fire the man because of the just rumor of impropriety, not the appearance of impropriety, the rumor of impropriety. That was their excuse for firing him. He did nothing wrong. Everyone says he did nothing wrong. But because the rumor got out there that he did something wrong, they fired him. He attempted to apply for another job, and whoever the person is who claimed to have seen what they saw called that school system, told them he had done this inappropriate thing, and they refused to hire him. Couldn't get a job in education. The man did nothing wrong. He's completely innocent. The school's internal investigation decided he was completely innocent. And still, they fired him. Not only did they fire him, someone used the rumor to deny him another job. The police investigated. The police said there's no there there. An outside investigator was hired. He said there's no there there. And still the guy was out of his job. And you know the response from some of the people who go to the school? It's to circle the wagons around the school and say the school did nothing wrong. The gentleman and his family have finally sued the school, and this is what I'm outraged about, this lawsuit that he's filed. Why should I be outraged that a man I think was innocent and accused of something inappropriate? Why should I be outraged about a lawsuit? I'm outraged because I think he should sue the snot out of them, and he's not. He's not suing them for much. He's suing them for salary and some damages. He should be suing them for millions of dollars for what they did to him and his family, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to hurt the school. He wants to be made whole from the injustice, but he also doesn't want to hurt the school, which goes to speak to his character, because I think if what they did to him was happening to me, I'd sue him for millions of dollars. But it's the kind of guy he is, and the kind of woman his wife is. But you know, the reaction in the local community from some people who are supporters of Ace, the school, is he should have kept his mouth shut. And how dare you defend him? You could hurt the school's reputation if people knew about this. So the school ruins this guy's reputation over nothing, and there are people whose kids go to the school like, we can't do anything. We don't want to risk hurting the school's reputation. The school committed an injustice, and with the behavior of some of the parents, the school can keep on committing an injustice because in their logic, they have to protect a school that ruined a good man's reputation because there's no victim. There are no eyewitnesses. There was no wrong done. The man was falsely accused. And yet there are people who will defend the school and its handling of the situation because their tribal loyalty is to protect the school that they have ties to through their family or their donations or what have you, which allows the school to continue behaving badly. They ruined a man's reputation and deprived him of his livelihood by accusing him of doing something awful that the police and their own investigators said never happened, and they didn't care. They didn't give him his job back. They tossed him and his family out of the school. They should be punished. And the people who defend the school should be ashamed of themselves for seeing an injustice and deciding that their precious school is more important than an individual human being who is their neighbor. Now let's transition that to politics. I would not vote for someone who did what Jay Jones did. It's not a matter of me saying, oh, I would refuse to do it because he's a Democrat and I'm a Republican. I have refused to vote for Republicans for doing those awful things. Because you got to hold your own side accountable. If you don't hold your side accountable, the voters will hold your side accountable. Yesterday, I defended Kash Patel, the FBI director. Kash Patel is Hindu. He put up a tweet about Diwali, the Hindu holiday, and the racist supposed pastor Joel Webbin attacked him on social media. I defended Kash Patel. I don't practice the holiday. I don't celebrate the holiday. I don't participate in the holiday. But he's an American citizen. He is the FBI director. It is his religious holiday, and he was wishing those who practice that holiday happiness. He didn't deserve to be attacked by a racist. But that Webbin guy has been allowed to fester on the right because there are too many people on the right who say, hey, there can be no enemies to the right of me. We should allow this guy to thrive within our movement and fester racism. And I don't think you should. And I think just because the Democrats are hypocrites on this, we shouldn't be. The Democrats are absolutely hypocrites on it. And you Democrats need to know you're hypocrites on this. You would be vilifying Jason Marys, if it was his text messaging, you would be calling for Republicans to denounce him. And you know what? I would. If it was him doing what Jay Jones did, I would denounce him as I denounced Jay Jones. And I have a record to prove it. I've denounced Donald Trump repeatedly. I've refused to support other Republicans, but it just keeps coming up over and over again how you guys demand that Republicans hold themselves to a particular standard you refuse to hold yourselves to. You have a man running in Maine who got a tattoo on his chest of the SS division that organized and carried out the Holocaust. And you're like, it's just a tattoo. It means nothing. And yet you're the same damn people who looked at the Jerusalem cross on Pete Hegseth and said it was too damning to qualify him to be Secretary of Defense. It was a dog whistle for you. It itself represented nothing, but its meaning, the undercurrent of it to you meant something terrible. The actual Nazi brigade symbol is on a man's chest, and it means nothing to you because of the D next to his name. Your tribal loyalties discredit you too. All of you should be ashamed. You want to get rid of hypocrisy in politics? You got to hold your own side accountable.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
153 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Seeing brake lights 85 north out of Union City and 285 south right around the College Park area, all trying to make your way 285 east toward Riverdale Road, where you still have that rolling road work in the left lanes. And some brake lights 285 east in Dorville, leaving Peachtree Boulevard over to I-85. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates, personal injury law firm. John Foy & Associates will help you get the care and compensation you deserve after an accident. When you need help, they're there. You're never a number. Get the strong arm. Call John Foy & Associates today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first-time buyer? The Car Guys have the answer. Join Shelley Winter and automotive expert Kevin Deutsch this and every Saturday at 12 for all your car needs. The Car Guys, presented by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where we've been bringing the top jewelry designers in the world to Atlanta since 1939. And we're doing it again this weekend only for our fall bridal event. Choose from 20% off all bridal and diamond jewelry, 0% APR financing for 3 years, or free travel bans with the purchase of your precious metal band. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. Make an appointment at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOURwealth.com.
Your home. It's where you live, you sleep, you eat, and you breathe. Shouldn't it be healthy and safe for your family? To be truly healthy, your home needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in? Yuck! Hey, it's Christina Epwards. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home inside and out, because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Don't settle for the 5-minute, outside-only, spray-and-pray approach to pest control, because that's not protection. That is not a healthy home. Some of the other companies have given up on the inside of your home, but not Breda. They know a healthy home requires protection inside and out. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone. So let the local folks from Breda in, and they'll keep those pests out. Breda, they handle bugs and critters for a healthy home. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Dorville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. emoryhealthcare.org/winship.
Remodeling your home's exterior requires expertise, experience, and attention to detail. That's what I built my business on. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors. I'm the siding and windows expert you hear on the Home Fix-It Show with decades of experience for all things exterior. Windows, siding, painting, roofing, decks, doors, and gutters, all with unmatched quality and craftsmanship. Even the small details are a big deal to us. Get your free estimate, Google Nelson Exteriors.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Breaking news, North Carolina's legislature has just redistricted to make the state even more Republican for Congress. That just happened. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them and save $200. Get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. All you have to do, go to the website, EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. They're air purifiers, so they get rid of dust, pollen, pet dander, things like that, particulate that floats in the air. They even kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air, but where they really shine and how I use them is as an odor eliminator. They generate ozone, and ozone can tackle any odor. Ozone goes where the odors are, finds them, and wipes them out, and they're highly effective at it. I've used them in hotel rooms and rental cars where someone smoked. I've used them in musty attics. I've used them on my back porch when the window was open and the smoker smell got in. You can plug it up with a USB cord. You can plug it directly into a wall, and it just works. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. EdenPureDeals.com. Get 3 of them. You save $200. You get them for less than $200, and they really work to wipe out any odor. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK, the number 3, no space.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
This might help, young man. This might cure what ails you.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I run a stupid little radio show. I don't care. Have fun.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Your friend, Eric Von Hessler, the Common Sense host.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you starting to consider a new roof, but not sure if it's needed or what it might cost?
Tim Andrews, if you're going to impersonate Scott Slade, you might want to add a little bottom.
A little bottom to it.
A little bass, yes.
Where I'm working on that.
Well, you don't have to impersonate me. We're both here for FGA Roofing.
I know them.
FGA Roofing offers their free drone assessment. And you'll know if it just needs a fix, a rejuvenation, or a new roof. They'll quote you a price. And if you mention Scott Slade, they'll take $750 off the quote.
What about me?
Mention Tim Andrews, they'll take $750 off the quote.
That's $1,500.
If you mention both of us. And here's the best part. That quote is good for 1 year.
With your good credit, you can take advantage of their 000 offer. That's 0 down payment, 0 payments for 18 months, and 0 interest.
They offer all types of roofs, from architectural or any of the high-end roofs like slate.
Take the first step now and set up an appointment at FGAroofing.com. That's FGAroofing.com.
Or just Google FGA Roofing.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The GBI investigating after a man dies following a bizarre incident involving Cobb County police. Officers encountered 47-year-old Timothy Sheets of Dallas while responding to a call of a hit-and-run accident. Sheets claimed he had been shot, but the officer didn't see any visible injuries. He refused to get in the officer's patrol car and instead started walking into traffic. At one point, attempting to get into a passing vehicle, and that's when the officer tased him. When he became unresponsive, he was taken to the hospital where he died. No officers are injured. It is 70 degrees in Atlanta, falling back into the mid-40s by morning. How much of a warm-up tomorrow? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. This just in, the Trump administration announces another strike on an alleged drug-carrying boat, this time in the Pacific Ocean. Stockbridge police are searching for a 38-year-old 38-year-old burglary suspect who escaped from police custody. 38-year-old Brittany Caldwell is accused of stealing clothes and other items from a home on Blackhall Road. She was later taken to Piedmont Henry Hospital for evaluation. She escaped while being escorted to the restroom. Anyone who has information about her whereabouts should contact Stockbridge Police or Crime Stoppers. Emergency bridge repair work this afternoon on I-75 in Clayton County.
Crews are putting in materials needed to shore up that section of the bridge to get those lanes back open. So we, of course, will not open those lanes until it is safe.
The DOT's Natalie Dale says the bridge crosses over Meadowbrook Lane between Mount Zion Boulevard and State Route 54. Nothing hit the bridge. There's some material crumbling from underneath. Inspectors will determine if more extensive work is needed. If so, that will be scheduled during non-peak hours. This is National Teen Driver Safety Week. Parents and young drivers encouraged to review important safety habits. Reminders about speeding, texting, and drinking are common, but tire safety is often overlooked. Alex Bibiak lost his teenage son in a tragic accident involving bald tires.
Lack of inflation in your tires is actually very, very dangerous. It changes the control of your vehicle, the stopping distance, and actually can create blowouts.
Drivers should also check tread depth and also look for cracks, tears, bulges, and foreign objects in the tires. Governor Kemp travels to South Korea 6 weeks after federal agents raided the massive Hyundai battery plant in South Georgia. This trip was planned before that happened. The governor is expected to meet with the leaders of corporations with plants located in our state. It is 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit aquaguard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. At Ameris Bank, we know that it's never just business when it's your business. I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. Whether your business is looking to optimize cash flow, improve your payment technology, or grow more quickly, my team and I are here and ready to help with a superior level of service, smart banking technology, and local market expertise. I invite you to reach out to my team by visiting amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Fall is a busy time and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
When leaves are falling off the trees, it's time to celebrate autumn. But when your garage door is falling off its tracks, it's time for All Four Seasons. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Sounds like you're ready for a new garage door. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. Our products are warranted, and our work is guaranteed. When trust matters, repair or replacement, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the number 1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not so good around the airport. Rolling construction, 285 eastbound, the outer loop passing I-85, knocking out at least one left lane. That's got 285 south slow from Camp Creek Parkway. 85 north brake lights find you out of Union City from Flat Shoals Road. If you're traveling southbound into the city, afternoon volume starting to fill in. 75-85 southbound from 17th Street as you head down toward I-20. And right lane construction in Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville, 316 westbound at High Hope Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and breezy today with a high near 70. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Clear and cool tonight, lows in the mid-40s.
More sunshine into the low 70s for tomorrow. Right now, 69 in Duluth, 68 in Smyrna, and 71 in College Park. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. We're still in a government shutdown, even if you don't know it. Democrats are trying to figure out how to now get out of it. Republicans are telling them just vote to reopen it. And maybe they will vote to reopen it. We will see. I want to talk about a story that is not on your radar unless you got my show notes. I made sure Philip got all the articles in it, but it's actually a really big deal. Again, if you want the show notes, text DATA to 33777. I'll send you back a link that's just to the show notes, and you can get it because this is actually a big deal. My buddy Fred on Twitter, who lives out in Kansas City and listens to us out there, used to live in Atlanta before he moved out there. He sent me this. He works in one of the auto manufacturing businesses and says, you got to know about this because it's a huge deal. And I looked into it, and it is a very, very huge deal about a company called Nexperia. This is from Reuters. A group representing major automakers warned late on Thursday that a chip disruption stemming from a dispute between China and the Dutch government could quickly impact U.S. auto production. Car makers and their suppliers received notice from chip maker Nexperia last week that it could no longer guarantee delivery of its chips, said ACEA, the European Union's auto association, which also said manufacturing could be significantly disrupted. In the United States, the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents General Motors, Toyota, Ford, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and nearly all other major automakers, urged a quick resolution. If the shipment of automotive chips doesn't resume quickly, it's going to disrupt auto production in the U.S. and many other countries and have spillover effects in other industries. Some automakers told Reuters that U.S. auto plants could be affected as soon as next month. They declined to be named due to the sensitivity of the issue. The chips made by Nexperia are crucial to production of U.S. parts and vehicles. The Dutch government announced on Sunday it had, as of September 30th, taken control of the Chinese-owned computer chip maker Nexperia, citing worries about the possible transfer of technology to Nexperia's Chinese parent company, WingTech. Court documents showed the Dutch government's move came after months of rising U.S. pressure on the company. Nexperia was at risk of being impacted by a new U.S. rule that extends export control restrictions to companies at least 50% owned by one or more entities on the U.S. entity list. Washington put WingTech, which owns 100% ownership of Nexperia, on the U.S. list. That's from U.S. News. This from CNBC Today. German auto giant Volkswagen said Wednesday, warned of temporary production outages, citing China's export restrictions on semiconductors made by Nexperia. The update comes shortly after the German Association of Automotive Industry, the country's main car industry lobby, said the China-Netherlands dispute over Nexperia could lead to significant production restrictions in the near future if the supply interruption of chips cannot be swiftly resolved. A spokesperson for Volkswagen told CNBC by email that while Nexperia is not a direct supplier of the company, some Nexperia parts are used in its vehicle components, which are supplied by Volkswagen's direct suppliers. Now, the Dutch government seized control of the company. Why? Because the company specializes in the high-volume production of chips used in automotive, consumer electronics, and other industries. And they are completely owned by China, though they are based in the Netherlands. Why are they based in the Netherlands? Because Nexperia, as I understand it, uses a special machine of which there are only about 8 in the world. Those 8 machines are produced by a Dutch company that can produce a high volume of microchips, specialized microchips, in a very quick pace. And those machines are very valuable. And the U.S. and European allies have decided China is not allowed to get their hands on the machine. Nexperia is a company based in the Netherlands allowed to use the machine, and the Chinese bought the company to get closer to the machine. Now, this is from the Dutch government. This is a statement from the government of the Netherlands. On Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, the Dutch Minister of Economic Affairs invoked the Goods Availability Act due to serious governance shortcomings at semiconductor manufacturer Nexperia. The company's headquarters are located in Nijmegen, with additional subsidiaries in various countries around the world. The decision aims to prevent a situation in which the goods produced by Nexperia, finished and semi-finished products, would become unavailable in an emergency. The company's regular production process can continue. The act has been invoked following recent and acute signals of serious governance shortcomings and actions within Nexperia. These signals pose a threat to the continuity and safeguarding on Dutch and European soil of crucial technological knowledge and capabilities. Losing these capabilities could pose a risk to Dutch and European economic security. Nexperia produces, among other things, chips used in the European automotive industry and in consumer electronics. This measure is intended to mitigate that risk. What's going on here? China completely owns this company. This company uses a technology the Europeans and the Americans have decided must be kept from China. So the Chinese have been using their leverage of the company to restrict access to its chips, to build pressure on the Americans and the Europeans to allow the Chinese access to the machinery that its own company uses. See, the Chinese are better at stealing other people's intellectual property than creating their own. They always have been. They're a nation of thieves. They're a nation that lacks originality because they're communists. Communists lack originality, so they steal the ideas of others. The machine used by this company is not allowed in China. China wants the machine in China because China wants to be able to get its hands on it and build its own machines. So the Chinese are leveraging the global supply of computer chips in the automotive industry in order to get it. Now, just think about this. These are the advantages China has to a degree, that the Chinese are able to restrict the flow of information. The Chinese are able to build out technical capacity around the world. The Chinese are able to restrict the flow of rare earth minerals and do other things because they work hand in glove with environmentalists in the West to restrict the West's capacity to grow and innovate. You see, many of the environmental groups and the anti-Western groups that are in the West are funded by the Chinese in the same way the Soviets used to fund them. And so many of the environmentalists in this country who are demanding that we switch everything to solar power, that reminds me, if you're in Georgia, vote for the Public Service Commission incumbents. There's an election because the opponents, the communists running, actually want to boost solar power in Georgia. Where does the solar power come from? China. The Chinese government is funding environmentalists and progressive activists in the United States to push us towards solar power, and I'm not making that up. And why? Because China controls the solar power production in the planet. There are companies in this country that do make solar panels, but the Chinese control most of it. And many of the rare earth minerals that go into even the solar panels that are produced in this country, the rare earth minerals come from the Chinese companies because the Chinese went around the world and they bought up mines. And then they funded environmentalists in this country to prevent us from digging the rare earth minerals. We actually, in this country, I don't know if you know this or not, but in the United States, we are very blessed. We have a lot of the rare earth minerals in this country that are needed for the production of microchips, for computers, for cars, and we have them. We have them in abundance. What are the rare earth minerals? There are 17 of them used in technology for electronics, magnets, and batteries. Some of them are actually not particularly rare, but they're difficult to mine because they're not found in high concentrations anywhere. What are the rare earth minerals? Scandium, lanthanum, samarium, europium, ludium, erbium, promethium, thulium, gadolinium, terbium, cerium, neodymium. I know what neodymium is. That's for the magnets. Ytterbium. Some of these I don't even know, and I'm pretty good on the periodic table, but these are different isotopes. It's a chemical element. Atomic number 61 for promethium. All of its isotopes are reactive. It is extremely rare. There are only about 600 to 500 grams naturally occurring in Earth's crust at any given time. It's one of only 2 radioactive elements that are both preceded and followed in the periodic table by elements with stable forms. Technetium is the other one. Chemically, promethium is a lanthanide. It shows only one stable oxidation state of +3. That doesn't matter to you. What do you use them in? Luminous paint and atomic batteries. You can use promethium in fission generation. And you know what? We have it here in the United States. We have it here, and we're just not allowed to drill it or mine it because of the environmentalist concerns. Ironically, China now says that the U.S. and Australia should play a proactive role to bolster rare earth mineral supply chains in the country instead of blaming China. But then the Chinese use Western environmentalists to prevent us from actually extracting the rare earth minerals. And now the Chinese are trying to get a chip manufacturing machine into China that the Dutch won't allow them. And so what the Chinese have done, simply turned the machine off and said, if we can't have it, you can't have it. And that machine makes all sorts of chips for automotive companies. This is going to be a real problem. The Chinese are now looking to use their leverage globally and their capacities globally to shut down auto manufacturing, to shut down power generation in the West, to shut down weapons development and technology development in the West. They're trying to leverage their clout to shut down the Western world. This comes at a time where today, for example, the Chinese are acknowledging that their economy has slowed more than they originally thought. They couldn't keep the lie going that China's economy was roaring because too many companies around the world are starting to see the signs of the Chinese Communist Party impacting the Chinese economy. So what is their solution in China? Restrict controls and drive up prices and use environmental lobbyist groups in the United States and Western Europe to shut down our internal capacities to do these things. And the West needs to get a clue as to what's happening. The Chinese are our enemies. They are not our trading partners. It's good that the Dutch government has gotten involved in this chip issue. It is bad that China controls this one company, which has a monopolistic coverage of chip manufacturing for automotive companies, and that needs to change. And that's going to take the Western world recognizing that China is actually our enemy and stop playing nice with the Chinese Communist Party. By the way, there are undercurrents in China. There's something going on with the military there. Xi Jinping is working overtime to oust prominent members of the military. There was a rumor in China about a month ago that there may be a coup afoot against Xi Jinping from the Politburo. He's now ousting people from the Politburo, which gives legitimacy to the claim. His stranglehold on China is weak right now, and the United States and Europe need to start thinking creatively about applying pressure to get him out of power. Him out of power would actually diffuse a lot of the situations we're dealing with China, because he alone is the guy who really wants to invade Taiwan and China. Get rid of him, things calm down.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Delays continue around the airport. 285 southbound, the outer loop slows right around Camp Creek Parkway. 85 northbound delays starting Union City from Flat Shoals, all due to the rolling construction. 285 eastbound, the outer loop, passing I-85 approaching Riverdale Road, so just allow a little extra time there through College Park. Brake lights on the West Freeway, 20 eastbound, sluggish, Riverside Parkway over to I-285, the west side perimeter. And a stall just cleared out of the left lane, everything back open. 285 north, the inner loop at Hollowell Parkway. Traffic is brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th, because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. we think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
There is some breaking news. The United States has carried out its 8th strike on an alleged drug vessel in the Eastern Pacific this time. Interesting. The U.S. military carried out another strike on a suspected drug vessel in the Eastern Pacific, according to the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. This is from Fox News. The strike Tuesday against a boat allegedly carrying drugs is the 8th conducted by the Trump administration. Quote, yesterday, at the direction of President Trump, the Department of Defense conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel being operated by a designated terrorist organization and conducting narco trafficking in the Eastern Pacific. The vessel was known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, was transiting along a known narco trafficking transit route and carrying narcotics, Hegseth said. There were 2 narco terrorists aboard the vessel during the strike, which was conducted in international waters. Both terrorists were killed. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Earlier this week, Hegseth announced that 3 alleged narco-terrorists were killed in a strike on a drug smuggling vessel affiliated with Colombia's National Liberation Army. The lethal kinetic strike happened Friday in international waters at the direction of President Trump, Hegseth wrote in a post on X. The vessel was known by our intelligence to be involved in illegal narcotic smuggling. So there you have it. Another boat blown up, this time in the Pacific, running up the western seaboard of the United States from Mexico, blown up. So we got a Colombian one, we got a Mexican one, we've got multiple Venezuelan ones, and it continues to expand. Now, interesting escalation there. I'm sure the Democrats will complain. Hillsdale College would like for you to take one of their classes for free. So you see what Hillsdale's all about, why it's now harder to get into Hillsdale than Harvard. True story. Go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. It is education, it's not indoctrination, and it's free to you. So here's what happens. You take one of these classes, like the capitalism class, it's a great one. And there are 7 30-minute videos you watch, and it educates you on capitalism. You learn something, you get smart, you go back for more. Completely free. Every video is 30 minutes long, depending on the class, depends on the number. They're really, really good. The capitalism one is great. I loved, and it's been a while since I've done it, but I took the C.S. Lewis one a while back. And again, there's no charge. You get a certificate of completion when you're done from Hillsdale, and it's just good education. It's ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College. You got 40 classes to choose from economics to history to math to chemistry to political science and philosophy to literature. There's so much there. ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today. When we come back, they're starting to rebuild from the Palisades fire in Southern California, and they can't. There's not a single house that's been built. And now the gas company is announcing something like $50,000 just for a gas hookup to try to deny you one.
All the notifications you need.
This story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. A former Public Service Commission candidate is arrested for allegedly stealing confidential information from Georgia Power. Patty Durand, a longtime critic of Georgia Power, is charged with felony theft of trade secrets. She was arrested by Capitol Police during a PSC meeting and booked into the Fulton County Jail. Durand was a Democratic candidate for the Public Service Commission in 2022, but the election was never held. A bizarre incident in Cobb County ends with a man dead, and the GBI called in to investigate a police officer. Cobb police responded to a hit-and-run call last night and found 47-year-old Timothy Sheets walking down the road. He tells the officer he'd been shot. The officer didn't see any visible injuries and asked Sheets to get into his car for safety. He refuses and starts walking into traffic. The officer tases him to prevent him from running into traffic, and the EMS arrives on scene, and Sheets becomes unresponsive. He was then taken to the hospital where he died. The GBI now investigating. On day 22 of the government shutdown, VA Secretary Doug Collins visits the VA Medical Center in Washington. The former Georgia congressman talks about improvements to the VA and how the shutdown is affecting operations.
Nobody should be, no matter what you read or what you hear, if you need health care at the VA here, especially in Washington and all over the country, are actually operating. Our clinics are operating.
He says for the first time, doctors, nurses, and administrators believe they can make changes that can actually help our veterans. It is now 2:31. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
When you come home after being away, you see your home with fresh eyes. And eventually, you'll roll up to your old garage door and finally notice how chipped and faded that rusty old slab really is. But that's the first thing people see when they come visit. A 250 square foot bent aluminum lime green garage door that also squeaks. Welcome to our home. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our design consultants can help you find a strong, quiet, modern garage door that anyone would be proud to come home to. Modern materials that won't crack, dent, or fade. In contemporary styles that showcase your home's design. Call Mo Better Garage and let us show you just how joyful arriving back home can be.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
It's 2:34, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Still watching the rough ride around the airport, Bill. It is all due to this rolling road work in 1 to 2 left lanes. 285 eastbound, the outer loop. Right now they're passing I-85, approaching Riverdale Road. That's why 285 south delays start around Camp Creek Parkway, with 85 north slowing out of Union City from Flat Shoals Road. I recommend using Highway 29 as an alternate, and checking on new trouble into cab. I-20 westbound Penola Road, exit number 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny, breezy, and cool today with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. The northwest wind gusting 25 miles per hour, pulling in that cooler, drier air. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 73. Sunny skies on Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
72 in Brookhaven, 70 in Loganville, 70 in Fairburn. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. I got an email from a listener. Why have you not talked about the White House ballroom? If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream and the podcast, and you can go back and listen to the second segment of the first hour of today, where I shared my thoughts. I did talk about it. You know, one of the frustrations, in all honesty, one of the frustrations of doing the show, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing, is I'm pretty timely with what I cover. And inevitably, I get people who are upset that I haven't talked about something, and I actually talked about it before it was even on their, radar. And then they're like, why didn't you talk about this topic? Well, I talked about it last week or even earlier in the show. You got to keep up. This is why live radio is good, and you should listen live every day, because by the time you get to the podcast, the information is outdated. Live radio still matters in this world. Now, we must talk about California. I don't really want to talk about California, but we got to talk about California, because in California, it's kind of bizarre what's going on out there. The Palisades fire. They arrested a man for starting the fire that took out so much of Los Angeles. You'll recall that horrific fire, burning houses all the way down to the beach. A water reservoir was not filled. The mayor of Los Angeles was in Africa for an inauguration of some leader in Africa and had to come home and left the city in the care of someone who was not quite competent. And now it turns out not a single house, we're more than a year now from that fire, not a single house has been rebuilt. And it turns out they're charging people something like $50,000 for a gas hookup. Why? Because they don't want you to actually put in natural gas in your house unless you're wealthy. And this is part of the problem with the way progressives operate. That if you're wealthy, you can do things that other people can't. And now that's always been reality. Like, for example, if you're wealthy, there are golf courses you can join. So I just joined I don't mind telling you this one because you can't get through the front door unless you're a member. There's a golf club in Atlanta called In Town Golf. And they don't have a golf course per se. It's 10 very, very well-designed TrackMan simulators. And they have a fantastic golf pro I've got a lesson from. They have a great bar and restaurant, and I can go in the morning. When I get to Atlanta, I can get in there, and it's like a workspace as well. So I go in there, I do my work, and then I go to the office, and then they have a gym. So I've actually been going to the gym in Atlanta now. So I go back to the golf club, drop off my stuff, get my gym bag, go to the gym, then I can have dinner, I can go home, I can take meetings. It's fan. I love it. I found my happy place in Atlanta where I can go in the morning and I can work. People don't bother me. It's a fantastic place, and they've got several of them. And one of the main reasons I joined is because as the show expands, it's in the markets I'm in. So there's one in Austin, there's one in Columbus, Ohio, near Dayton. There's one in Nashville and Philadelphia. They just announced one in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a phenomenal concept. I love it. The architecture, the design, everything is great, and I can join it. But there are other golf clubs, it's $100,000 to join. That's absurd. And so you can only join if you're very wealthy or you're a corporation. I don't have the money. There's a golf club near me. I joined one and it had no like membership joining fee. And it was like $300 a month. And my son and I, we love to go play golf, and we do. There's another one, it's like $35,000 to join. And then a bunch of money a month. And that's reasonable for a golf course. I say all that to say, not bragging, because I can't join them. There was one in Atlanta. A guy asked me if I was interested in joining this golf club in Atlanta that will remain nameless. And it was literally $100,000 plus about $1,000 a month. It's like, are you kidding me? No. It's like, but networking. It's like, I'm on national radio. The people I need to network with are in Omaha, Nebraska, not Atlanta, Georgia. And I mean, look, I was very flattered, and it is a very nice place with a great restaurant. I've enjoyed going there the handful of times I've been there, but I'm not spending $100,000 to join a golf club. It's something the really wealthy can do that you and I can't do. But there's a difference between private sector policies designed to exclude people outside of an income level and government policies designed to do that, and that's my problem. When the government structures policies that are designed to punish the poor and the middle class but allow the wealthy access to things, I have a real problem with that. And that's the way so much of progressivism works these days. Alex Soros and George Soros and Bill Gates and all these other wealthy people of the left can live a life you and I cannot live. And in fact, they put up obstacles to you and me being able to ever get to their level. Not that I expect any of us to be billionaires one day, but you know what I mean. They put up all sorts of obstacles in the places they go and the things they do, and they think they're all about equity and egalitarianism, and they're not giving us equitable memberships to their golf clubs or to their private clubs that they go to in New York City. They don't want that. They want places where they can exclude you and me. And they want the government, in many cases, to do those things, like gas hookups. The left has been waging war in this country against natural gas. I don't have natural gas at my home. I wish I did. My wife doesn't actually like cooking on natural gas. It's just not something she grew up with. I like cooking on natural gas. I like cooking on propane. But we have an induction stove in our house, and I actually love the induction stove because it heats up faster than natural gas. But the reason like chefs like induction and natural gas, just so you understand, is if you use an electric stove, and probably most of you have an electric stove, the coils heat up. When you turn your burner from high to low, the energy and heat are still in the electric coils, and so it's not as easy to regulate the heat. With an induction burner or a gas burner, when you turn it from high to low, it's an immediate effect. That's why chefs like gas, because they can do things, and they can also charge things that you can't charge on an induction stove. I like the induction stove because, like, for example, I've got on my stove, I like to melt chocolate for things when I'm making desserts and stuff. And there's a burner I can set a button. It's the melt button. It's lower than simmer, and it is enough heat to melt chocolate, but without ever scorching. So I literally can put bars of chocolate in a pot, hit the melt button, and walk away for an hour and come back, and the chocolate's perfectly melted. I've done no stirring. I've done nothing, and I love induction. I'm a big fan of induction, but I love gas too. And if you're a wealthy person in Los Angeles, you're going to be able to have a gas stove. Your caterer will be able to come in for your parties. You know, I was talking to my buddy Vince Longo the other day. We were talking about kitchens, and the trend among wealthy people is to have a catering kitchen. Have y'all heard about this? Wealthy people have a kitchen that they don't actually use, but it looks like a kitchen. But behind the kitchen, they have a catering kitchen that their cooks and their servants and their caterers use. Blows my mind. Why don't you cook for the people instead of having a caterer come in? You pretentious snob, but nonetheless, that's what the wealthy get to do because they're wealthy. And they're going to be able to get the hookup in Southern California for natural gas for their freaking catering kitchen. And you're not going to if you're in the middle class by government design. The environmentalists have insisted that it be so. And time again, we do this. The progressives are able to get around the low-flow showerheads. Why? Because they can afford to pay the penalty to get the wider pipes to boost the water into their bathroom for the multiple shower heads. So they're still all low flow, but they got multiple shower heads where you just get one. I want a car wash for a shower one day. Now there's this. Residential policyholders around California could be paying several $100 million to help cover the cost of claims arising out of the firestorms in Los Angeles County. Multiple insurers, including State Farm General, the largest in California, have received approval from the Department of Insurance to charge their customers for a portion of a $1 billion assessment they were hit with due to the financial problems of the state's insurer of last resort. Surcharges that have been approved for some large insurers so far total more than $150 million, with the average surcharge for a standard homeowner's policy around $50 depending on the carrier. The charge can be more or less according to the size of the premium and is split into monthly payments that can be spread over 2 years. The California Fair Plan Association announced, operated and backed up by the state's licensed home insurers, was overwhelmed with at least $4 billion in residential and commercial claims stemming from the Palisades and Eaton fires that damaged or destroyed nearly 13,000 homes. Unable to pay the claims, it assessed its member carriers the $1 billion charge in February, half of which they could seek to recoup from their residential and business customers across the state. You got that? You see how this works? By the way, I actually thought the Palisade fire was last year. It was only in January. Wow. Time flies. You see how this works? In California, they have a California Fair Plan Association. The state's licensed home insurers pay money into this program for people who don't have insurance and there's catastrophic natural disaster. The state's progressives did a bad job monitoring, preparing, and managing the plan. So the result is that the insurance companies have to kick in more money, and they have to raise rates on everybody else because the progressives in California were bad at management. True story. Isn't that wild? True story. And here's the kicker. They can only recoup half the money through residential and business customers. They have to take it out of their profits, everything else. So you know what's actually going to happen? You and I who don't live in California, we're going to see our rates go up. Everybody's going to pay in the nation because the progressives in California refuse to properly manage their insurance funds. Now, the way insurance works, it's going to be somewhat nebulous. They're going to deny that you and I elsewhere are going to see rate hikes. But that's ultimately what it's going to be, as nationwide insurance companies have to pool their resources to be able to cover costs in California that are being charged to them because the fund that California uses to cover catastrophic costs was underfunded and couldn't handle the $4 billion. You and I are going to have to pay. But then the people who want to build their houses, they're going to have to pay exorbitant costs to put the house back the way it was. Not even a new house, not even an expanded house. The house they had, even if they make cuts to it, they're going to pay more for it, not just because of inflation, thanks to Joe Biden's economy, but because in California, the regulators are charging so much, even to clean the land. But then to put in gas, to put back in water, all of those things, they're going to drive out the poor and the middle class, and the wealthy are going to have bigger homes on bigger lots because you and I would have to sell our property. We wouldn't be able to rebuild. This is the nature of progressivism. It's why so many rich people love communism. Trust funders, they love it. They never had to work a day in their life. They live off mommy and daddy's money. They don't know what it's like to work. They don't really work. They work for charity. They work for some family foundation or something. They don't know what it's like. And they're okay with the higher rates and the higher costs because, gosh darn it, they just love the world and want to save the world, and they want to help you, and they don't realize what it's like for you. They've never walked in your shoes. They've never been poor. They've never been middle class. They've never struggled. And they'll get their gas stove, and they'll get their home rebuilt. And the poor and the middle class in California, they won't. They'll have to move. the house with all their memories in it is gone, and the land on which it stands, which is theirs, they're going to have to sell that land to be able to rebuild, because the progressives in California have priced them out of being able to rebuild their home because the progressives love them so much. After all, it's for your own good.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the jam around the airport with this rolling road work. 285 eastbound, the outer loop, now approaching Riverdale Road, exit 60 in the left lanes. That's why you're seeing the 285 southbound brake lights from Langford Parkway, and 85 north delays out of Union City. New crash in DeKalb, right lane blocked. I-20 westbound, Panola Road, exit 71, slow back into Lithonia. Traffic brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Text ERIC to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. ERIC tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
Welcome back. It is Erick Erickson here across the nation. Okay, so the White House, the ballroom, it looks like progressives are already trying to make it a litmus test for their presidential candidates. Will you promise to tear down Trump's ballroom? How many litmus tests are they going to have? Will you promise to tear down the Trump ballroom? Donald Trump is building his gaudy ballroom at the White House. He has every right to do it. Other presidents have added additions to the White House. The East Wing was an addition by FDR, as I said earlier. And if he wants to put in the gaudy ballroom, he can. I personally think it's gaudy. It's disproportionate to the House, is not needed in the White House. I kind of like it as an intimate home. It is a house. It's not a palace. But he has every right to do it, whether I like it or not. What I find funny is the left is now essentially declaring it's going to be a litmus test for 2028. Democratic presidential candidates are going to have to commit to tearing it down. Think of all the litmus tests the Democrats have. You got to support boys and girls bathrooms. You have to support health care for illegal aliens. You have to support abortion on demand. You now have to support tearing down the ballroom at the White House. But you don't have to hate the Nazis if they're Democrats. That's not a litmus test at all. If it's Republican Nazis, they're bad. Democratic Nazis, they're okay. The Mein Kampf candidate with his Nazi tattoo. You can support killing candidates and their children. If you're a candidate for Attorney General in Virginia and you're a Democrat, the Democrats don't care about that. No litmus test there. It is kind of wild what's a litmus test and what's not. Nazis are okay. People who dream about murdering others are okay. But if you're okay leaving a building in its place that Trump built, that's not okay. You got to tear it down. If you're allowing kids to live, that's not okay. You got to support killing kids. It's the litmus tests of the progressive left. These people's brains are broken. They're perfectly fine with a Democrat who made jokes about rape and racism and has a Nazi tattoo because he's a self-declared progressive. But you better be in favor of tearing down Donald Trump's ballroom if you want their support. These people, they're broken. They are absolutely broken. Now, I got to tell you about Swiss America. Here at the end of the show, they've been warning people about a secret war on cash. The economic turmoil we have had in this country for some time and the interest rates we've had have kind of raised a red flag about the secret war on cash as the government steers you to use plastic where if it's a credit card, not a debit card, not only can they track you, but you get charged an interest rate. Swiss America wants to help you save money and help on your retirement and finances with their report, The Secret War on Cash. You can get a copy completely for free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. All you do is send them my name. If you call them, tell them Eric sent you. If you text them, just send Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or just call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Get the Secret War on Cash report from Swiss America. It takes less than 15 minutes to read. It's completely free. Message and data rates may apply.
I'm Chris Chandler. Thursday at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, an early look